Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is going to be probably the most special video I've done on the channel to date. It is of course the 100,000 subscriber special. First of all, a very sincere thank you to all of you guys for being a part of the journey and for supporting me all this way. I think it's been like 3-4 years now. Deeply grateful for all of you guys, and I hope to continue to take the channel to new heights and continue putting out the content that you guys enjoy. And especially recently, the channel has been absolutely exploding. We've mixed up the content a lot and it seems to really be clicking for you guys. So we'll continue doing that and hopefully things continue to keep growing. And that's really, it means the world to me because it's basically a dream come true. This is what I want to do for the foreseeable future, and I just hope to be able to continue doing that. Today's video, I'm going to go ahead and recap my entire Age of Empires 2 journey from the start, from a very young age, all the way till now, 2023. I'm going to go through all of the different moments, all the highlights and lowlights of the career, and kind of give you guys a recap so you can get to know me better and get to see where I've come from and where I am now. It's quite a nice journey, to be honest. It was not a straight path, and so I figured it could be really interesting for you guys to listen in and just see how it all went down. Anyways, let's hop into the journey, starting off at a very young age. So my first contact with Age of Empires 2 started out when a friend of my brother's gave us a CD. He gave us the Age of Kings and Age of Conquerors CD, and we actually started playing it. He actually lent it to us, so it was told us you can borrow it for a little bit. He wasn't playing it, so we started playing it. Ended up really enjoying it. My dad was familiar with the game back in the day, so we've kind of heard about it before. It was not entirely new, and so it was really exciting. We all played it against AI, a lot of single player, and eventually our friend told us we can keep it. He said, you know what, I don't even need it back, you guys are enjoying it, you guys keep it. So we ended up keeping the gold edition of the Age of Conquerors and Age of Kings, the OG CDs, and we played it for years. So I probably got it when I was around like 8, and from 8 to 13 it would be like not my main games. I played a lot of other games as well, but it would be definitely like a game that I kept close to my heart. Me and my brothers all played it. We did the Montezuma campaign, the William Wallace campaign, the Joan of Arc campaign, pretty much all the campaigns that there is to do. Played a bunch of single player. We actually played a lot together. I played a lot of like team games with my brothers. In fact, I remember we used to play 3v3 Fortress against the AI, and I would delete my town center as soon as we start and rebuild it right next to my brother in the middle, and my other brother on the flank would do the same thing. So we'd have 3 town centers in the middle, and that's how we thought was like the cool way to play, because we have all one base. So I really started out as a casual playing for fun, and I definitely cherish those moments even now. It's definitely something that I really enjoy doing. And yeah, we played single player AI with my bros, pretty much everything you can play without multiplayer. Then around when I was 13, I actually wanted a campaign tutorial for the Into China Genghis Khan campaign. I couldn't beat it. I didn't really know how, and so I looked up a campaign tutorial and I landed on Zero Empires' video. And Zero Empires is a YouTuber that does a lot of high-level online gameplay at the time, commentaries, etc. And yeah, I got introduced to the competitive scene or the online scene through his channel. I then learned about a website called Voobly, or a third-party platform called Voobly, where the game could be run online, and I thought that was super cool. So immediately I started looking up whatever small guides there were at the time. There was not much at all. I started looking up players. I heard of Chris, I heard of Doubt, I heard of Viper, heard of Slam, and these were all names that immediately I looked up to because, oh my god, they're playing at the highest level. It was super exciting. I found out about deal learning for the first time. I found out about hotkeys, so I started learning hotkeys. I learned like the farm hotkey, the make a house hotkey, just like the absolute basics to get going. And I started playing online myself in the summer after my grade 8. So I was 13 playing in the summer, and I thought I was insanely good because I can beat the hardest AI. I genuinely thought I was a beast at the game, and so I named myself, it's so cringe, Pro at AoE. That was my nickname. It was so insanely cringe that it's just funny at this point, or sad, I don't know. It's, I guess, a mix of both. But yeah, I came in and I got an absolute reality check, a freaking bomb, because I lost my first game terribly. I got destroyed by Scout Rush, and it was a harsh reality check, but that didn't discourage me. I continued playing. I ended up dropping 200 elo from the starting elo down 200, and then working my way back up. After the first year, so we started at 1600, I lost 200 elo, I went down to 1400. That was considered like pretty low. I worked my way up to 2k, which was considered pretty high. That was like probably top 200, something like that, maybe top 300. And then after the second year, I got to 2k4 on the ladder, which at the time was top 10. So I got a really high rank after just 2 years of playing. However, the only reason I was able to do this is A, I was young and had a lot of time, and B, I only played one setting, which was Arabia Hun War. So Hun's mirror match on Arabia. This made learning the game so easy, or a lot easier, because I only have to learn it in a very simplified setting. Always the same civ, always the same map. So I was able to focus a lot more of my energy, not on decision making, but on micro. So I quickly became a really strong micro player, and I truly believe my micro back then was maybe even better than what I have right now. I still think what I have right now is like, overall better, but I was doing some things back then that I don't do now. And the reason I don't do it now is because it's just not worth it. I rather focus focused on my economy. But back then, my economy was terrible, and I focused everything on my micro. It's also worth noting that I had the worst equipment imaginable. My monitor screen size, I played on a fat screen monitor. It was like 1280 by 760. That was the resolution. It was super pixelated, super zoomed in. I played on a ball mouse, the one where you have to take the ball out, blow on it so the dust gets out, put it back in, and continue playing. And then a keyboard that was terrible. It was like a $5 keyboard. It's someone else's junk, bro, and it was my treasure. And I played on that, and I got to the top 10 on the ladder. So that just shows that equipment doesn't matter. It's all about the right mindset and putting in that work, that grind. And yeah, I thought that's pretty cool because honestly, I was able to play pretty well despite having nothing going my way because I had no money. I was broke. I was a kid, obviously, and I didn't want to ask my parents for money because like we had 4 kids, so we weren't really raised with like ask for something. Even if it's $100, we'll grab it for you. It's like I only ask for the essentials because at the end of the day, if I ask for something, you know, why should I get it when money's tight and just 4 kids to feed and all that? So I played with what I had and I made do with it. Then I took a 6-month break in around 2016. At this point, I played a few tournaments, small ones, but I was really never good. Remember, I only played one setting, like Arabia Huns. So in every tournament, I lost really easily. I was never actually like a good player. I was just a high-rated player. It doesn't mean I didn't have good skills. I had pretty good skills, but again, I wasn't a complete player. And so my highlight was second place in a Nations Cup tournament. Then I took a break in 2016 and came back only to play another Nations Cup tournament, got top 8, and then quit again for almost a year. In my time away, I played mainly League of Legends because that's what my friends were into at the time. Again, I was last year of high school, so you know I got into League of Legends with my friends. My friends knew about AoE. I told them about it, but they weren't really playing it. They weren't really into it. So I decided to join them in League of Legends, and I quickly got hooked. And so I played League of Legends a lot in that time. I also had a real job, like a part-time job, and college, so I was pretty busy after that first year of high school. And so AoE 2 just never really came back in my life. Then I came back around mid-2017, I guess, maybe early 2018, something like that. I came back when they added new civs to Voobly. This is the new civs that came with the HD edition, and they brought it to Voobly, and so I was able to play with the new civs around 2018. And so again, I played high level. I got right back to my high level. I played with all the different civs, so this time I was a more complete player, not just a Hunwar player. But again, I didn't play in many tourneys because I just wasn't fully back. There wasn't that many tournaments going on. This is pre-definitive edition, so there just wasn't that much to do. But I was enjoying the game, playing high level, and having a good time. I started streaming here and there because I thought it'd be pretty cool, show people how I play, because I played with a very unique playstyle with scroll commands using WASD to move the screen around. I did this initially because I had a very small screen, so I couldn't scroll with my mouse. Then I'd spend all the time scrolling with my mouse, so I used to scroll with WASD to save my mouse to do all the microing, and that's why I had very good micro. But I since then changed that, and I'll get into that later. But at this point, I was playing with scroll commands, and so I thought, you know, starting streaming could be pretty cool. People get to see how I'm playing. It's nice. I had like 50 viewers, but it was, you know, it was cool. Then end of 2018, I actually, this is probably the coolest part of my entire journey. I was working at a part-time job, playing AoE on the side, like I said, and actually during one shift, I went on break to just eat at restaurants, and I was watching Hidden Cup 1. So it was a tournament, and again, I was a top player, but I wasn't a pro player at this time. I wasn't signing up for tournaments. And so I watched Hidden Cup 1, and it was the first real big tournament I've watched, a 1v1 tournament, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was watching the restaurant, I was like, wow, this is incredible. And who was playing? It was all the names that I was playing on the ladder and I was keeping up with. So I was like, dude, like I can definitely hang with these guys, you know? And yeah, I watched it. The tournament was great. I really enjoyed it. I was completely sucked in. And so what I did, as I was watching, I decided, screw it, I'm not going back to work. I stayed in the restaurant. I watched the rest of the tournament the whole day, and I went back home and I said, you know what? I want to be like them. I want to play these tournaments. I quit my job, never even called in, never gave 2-week notice, and I started playing high level. I wanted to up my level to the point where I can compete in these tournaments for sure, play on the settings, and I wanted to make streaming my job instead of the job I had currently. Job I had currently paid around $1,000 a month. Streaming paid like nothing, like 200, but I decided it was worth it because I enjoyed doing that, and I wanted to follow that dream instead of staying stuck at that part-time job. So around 2019, I made streaming my official part-time work. I still did studies, so I couldn't go full-time 100%. And I played some tournaments after this, but I always lost in the first round. So the most notable one was Hidden Cup 2. I played it, lost first round to Vivi. You know, it was just not really working out as I imagined. I thought I'd have a lot better chances, but I was just kind of choking it, kind of getting nervous. And even though I was a high-level player, high-rated player, I could never make it click for tournaments. And for a while, I was just streaming, continuing to grind, you know, never really giving up. And then my big break came when DE was announced, and that was in November 2019. Definitive Edition came out, and this was huge because it brought a lot of people back into the game. So I grinded the stream 8 hours a day. In all of my free time, I still went to college. All my free time, I'd make YouTube videos and stream and play, and I got to a really high level on the ladder. I went to rank 1 right away. I was clickbaiting that on Twitch. My stream completely blew up. I went from like 200 viewers to like 1,000, 1,500. It was really the break I was looking for. And with that, I took the time to change all of my hotkeys. Since DE came out and there was a ranked map pool, I played on all the maps. So I got, not only was I a complete player because I played all the civs, now I got to play all the different maps. So I became an even more complete player, which is like a huge upgrade in my level. And I changed all my hotkeys, created a completely new playstyle, went away from the micro and into the macro playstyle, developed a good eco, practiced my eco, worked on all of that. And the viewership on my stream was a huge boost to that. So that's why whenever I talk about AV2 and me being a competitive player, I attribute a lot of the success to the viewers, because at the end of the day, they were the ones who were pushing me. That's what the motivation was, because when you just play professional player, there's not really any like growth potential. But when you're a content creator, there's a lot of growth. You can get a lot more people to be attracted to your stream, and that makes the whole thing way more enjoyable. I really value having a lot of people watching, because that makes the whole experience much better as a streamer. January 2020, so just 1 or 2 months after DE came out, I had my first 1v1 LAN event, and this was a huge opportunity, but I didn't take it as such. I took it as just something that I can kind of play. I asked my parents to go. They said no initially. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I asked them again later, and they said, okay, fine. I told them it's a big prize pool, it's a good chance. So I went for it, and I didn't expect to do well at all, because up until this point, I was losing round 1 of every tournament. Turns out I actually got 2nd place and only lost to Viper. I beat everyone else that I was played against. I had some insane results. 3 over his max at the time was really solid. Played against Mr. Yo, beat him out, and yeah, I only lost to Viper, and I was so stoked with that result. It was an absolutely incredible experience. It was a huge result. I think I went away that tournament happier than Viper, and I got 2nd. I lost, and I was celebrating more than him. That was definitely a great result for me, and kind of the start of a tournament career where I can actually compete now. So it was looking really solid. I was kind of on cloud 9. 2 months later, March of 2020, hitting Cup 3. I'm going in there, and I have a completely different mindset. I'm gunning for the win this time. I have a great series. I go up until the finals. I beat Doubt and Taro up until there, and now I'm playing Viper in the finals. I know it's him. I'm going in there. I'm pretty confident. You know, I beat him in a couple small events in between NAC and now. I'm feeling pretty good, and I get slapped back into reality. Probably the most hurtful loss of my career. 4-0. The games ended in within like an hour and 15 minutes. It was the quickest 4-0 you've ever seen. It was truly, truly heartbreaking. I remember watching them live because we played on Rex, and I watched them live, and I couldn't believe it. I kept thinking like, surely we're gonna replay these. Like, surely, I don't even know. I was in like a complete delusion at this point. I was like, I couldn't believe that I had my shot, and that's what I came up with. I came up with an 0-4. But at the end of the day, I just took it as, you know, a loss and kind of learned from it, continued grinding. Fast forward 1 year, and I take home my very first S tier, and it's quite the story because it's hidden Cup 4, and I got one of the hardest brackets of my career. I had to play Tata round 1, Libri round 2, Viper round 3, and Jordan in the finals. And of course, playing against Viper in the semis was such a good revenge arc, or like kind of a comeback arc for me, because after losing badly in the last edition, to come back and be able to beat him in the semifinals, that was the sweetest feeling I've ever felt in a tournament. I was literally stretching and doing I was like punching the air before as warm-up, and then afterwards, after I won the last game, I was literally tingling. Like, the sensation in my body was like absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe it. I was shaking, and I went to celebrate with my family. It was just the best moment I've ever felt as a competitive player. Went to celebrate on my stream, had a ton of people gifting, donating, a lot of viewers just sharing the moment with me, and it was incredibly special. And so that was definitely the highlight up until that point. After that, I won Holy Cup, another S tier event a little later, but it was pretty small. And then AOE4 came out. Now this is where things took a turn for not the worst, but took a turn to the interesting, because now at this point I've made it my job. Streaming is my job, and it's basically a career, because I wasn't a good student. I didn't do well in school, guys. Do you think I can play 8 hours a day and stream and still do well in school? Let's be real. I was cutting out study time to play this game, and so I didn't have other options. And so this is really important for me to make stream work. And then to make matters a little bit more interesting, when AOE4 came out, I got offered a Facebook contract unlike anything I've ever imagined. I've never released the monetary amounts, but I'll do in this video because whatever, if it comes back to bite me in the ass, that is what it is. But I got offered 1.4 million over 2 years. This is money I've never even dreamed of making, let alone rejecting. So this was such a crazy message to receive. And since then, I got the offer, and I went back and forth for 2 weeks. I had no idea what I'm gonna do, and in the end I decided, after 2 weeks of hard thinking about it, I decided I'm gonna turn it down because I simply valued to grow my channel, grow my brand, and that's better than the money. I also felt like I've built this community, it's gotten me so far on Twitch, and I didn't feel like abandoning them all one shot when I felt like, you know, I was kind of doing well, and I want to continue that growth. I don't want to just halt it here for a one paycheck. Also, the paycheck is huge, right? But after taxes, it's just not enough to set you up for life. And this is a career. Like, I don't have other options. So if I like take this, then what am I left with? I come back later, I might not be able to grow in those 2 years. It's definitely a very weird situation. And so I turned it down. I went for the growth instead of money. I took the chance at AB4, and this was actually the second Facebook contract I turned down, but the other one was still good, but a lot smaller. And yeah, this was definitely another turning point of my career, pretty much, as a streamer and as a player. Then AB4 turned out okay. I stuck on Twitch, of course, and I really wanted to grow the channel, and I thought AB4 would be a good opportunity. I thought I can balance AB2 and AB4 at the same time. And so AB4, I enjoyed it at first. I continued playing until I won one S tier tournament, but I realized when I was playing it, it was hard to balance AB4 and AB2. On stream, if I played AB4, everyone from AB2 hated it. If I played AB2, everyone from AB4 hated it. YouTube channel, I uploaded both, or then just AB4. Nothing really clicked, nothing really did well, and I started to realize, man, this is a really sticky situation. I can't mend the two. And then to make matters worse, AB4 got so boring after a subathon that I did, to the point where I couldn't stand playing it. Like, I really just didn't enjoy it. My viewership went down as the game naturally died off, because the game got 0 fixes within the first few months. And so it's really started crumbling very fast. And at this point, thoughts of regret kept coming in, because, you know, I chose to stay on Twitch, but it just wasn't working out. Maybe I should have taken the Facebook money. I kept having these thoughts, and I usually like to push them out because I don't like to dwell in the past. It is what it is. We move forward always. And so I just tried to do what's best for me in the moment. Just try to make the most out of a weird and bad situation. And so after AB4 kind of died down, I didn't feel like playing it. I didn't like it. It wasn't very enjoyable. I also turned down 200k tournaments of AB4 just because I didn't enjoy playing it. I had also some personal things going on. I just didn't really want to play those tournaments, and so I gave up on them. So again, not only did I turn down Facebook money, now I'm turning down tournament money, and it's hard for me to push to do things that I simply don't enjoy. Yeah, at this point, now I'm scrambling. I don't really know what to go for. I have some savings, but again, I still have a career to make because I'm not doing anything else in my life. And so I said, you know what, let's just get away from it all. I need some time to breathe. I need some time to think. And so I went to League of Legends for a little bit, mostly just to be able to like follow a dream I once had, which is to hit Challenger, the highest rank on the ladder of League. I didn't really think League would amount to much, but I figured let's just give it a shot. We have got nothing to lose here. And so I gave it my all. I actually enjoyed the League grind. It was fun. I got to share it with a lot of people on stream. And also, like, League of Legends has much better character movements than AB4, which is super laggy to play. So it was like a breath of fresh air completely. And I really enjoyed it. But I failed my goal. I didn't hit Challenger after a month and a half. So I decided, you know what? I'm kind of burnt out with League. I gave it my all. Didn't work. And it's time to go back to AB2. Coincidentally, around that time of April 2022, the Indian DLC dropped for AB2. And I felt like, okay, perfect time to come back. I make a video on YouTube signaling all the changes of AB2. At this point, I haven't posted AB2 videos in a month or a month and a half since I was doing League of Legends videos, which I've since taken down from the channel because it's just not what I'm about at this point. But yeah, I did a review of the Indian DLC, and immediately after that, I got right back to grinding. I made a new account, or I got a new account, and I worked on my AB2 skills. I started out from the bottom. I was terrible when I came back because I was rusty. I still had all the knowledge, of course. I just had to get into the mechanics again. Haven't played in like 3-4 months because I played League, then I played AB4, and so I had to climb on a secret account. I climbed up until 2k3. I think I lost like 1 game until I got there, so I was doing pretty solid. I felt comfortable again, and then I made my return official. I announced that I'm coming back to AB2. I started streaming again, announced it on YouTube, and I was stoked. I started pumping out really good content on AB2 on YouTube, and results were incredible. Like, you guys were receiving it really well on YouTube. You guys were excited to have me back. Super positive, like a lot of positive messages, super welcoming, and it felt really good. And I felt like, you know what, this is my home. I'm gonna stay here, and this is where I belong. Like, this is just what I do. It's the thing that I've had the most success with, and it's the thing that's made me feel the best, both playing and the content creation and interacting with the fans and the viewers. So since then, I've kind of checked off a few things from my bucket list, tried the things that I want to do, which I had the dreams since I was young of playing League of Legends, you know, getting to high yellow there, scratched that off. That's not for me. And now when you're all in on something, there's a special like force behind that. When you know if this is the one thing you got to do the best job. That's like the best motivator you can ever have. And that's what I had. Turned down all the money, turned down all the opportunities, I had only AB2, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna put my head down, I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna work until this works. And I've had the most incredible year since then, since April 2022. We've now almost a year and 2 months since then, 3 months. And since then, I've won the Grand Melee, which was $40,000 for first place, NEC4, $20,000 for first place, and KOTD5, $20,000 for first place. All three were S-tier tournaments. I've had great results in every other tournament. I've had the best numbers ever in terms of viewers on live stream, supporters on YouTube, and it's truly the best moment, like the best moments, really the best year of my life. I'm in the best AV2 shape ever, doing very well in every tournament, the happiest point of my personal life as well, and I've never enjoyed creating content more than I do currently. So it's truly the sweet moments after a couple years of a lot of rocky up and down uncertainties and just sticky situations all around. And I feel like right now is the moment where things are looking up. I'm super excited for the future, and I just can't wait to continue doing what I do, and I'll be here for the next 10 years, God willing, if I'm able to. So that's pretty much it for my journey through AV2, content creation, and pro play. I feel like I've come a long way as a person and a content creator, and as a player. I just want to thank you all for being a part of that, and now my official story is out there, so you guys can definitely refer to this if anyone's ever like questioning where I came from or what's going on here. It was not an easy path, but it was definitely an interesting one, and I'm actually super stoked for what the future has in store for us 2024 onwards, the rest of 2023. It's exciting times for AV2, and I'm just glad to be a part of it at this point, and I'll continue working as I have been to produce the highest quality content and to play the best I can in tournaments. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you once again for 100,000 subscribers. I hope this video was interesting and fun for you guys to watch as well, and yeah, let's make it to 200k now. Take care and see ya.